All right, back to center field here, ladies and gentlemen, on this Saturday afternoon. In fact, we're getting into the kind of somewhat evening hours now, which incidentally could make a little bit of a difference. Who knows? Because the lighting changes at this point in the day. And even as we get into the later phases of round two here, we'll have to see how those shadows shift and how they maybe make the course look a little bit different. But we'll start off by talking about the basics of the route here today. Again, Uliano Vizzani, along with assistant Francesco Bazzocchi, both from Italy, doing a masterful job of testing the top riders in the world. We've got 15 of the top 25 here, and this is a format that we never see in the United States, much more common throughout Europe, but most of our Grand Prix are one round, and then if we have a tie for first place after one round, then it's time to go to the jump off. This is more extensive, as it should potentially be, because $600,000 goes out here today, but second round, cumulative faults over the course of both phases, and then if we need to come back for a jump off, we will get to that. But right now, let's take a look at what the second round test will offer to the top 18 riders. Melanie?
Well, again, we have 12 fences, and the course basically goes backwards the other direction over some of the lines. The first fence is what was number 4, the orange vertical over there where the riders are. And they're jumping that the other way. Then they go across over this red oxer here next to me, which was number 3. This is 2. Up to the number 3, which was the second jump. Then they come around and jump towards the VIP stand over what was the first jump, and that's now number 4. And then to 5AB here, it's now a 2-stride combination. Instead of vertical to oxer, it's now oxer vertical. And then the end of the ring where we had the Liverpool, we still have that quick turn, but now it's a narrow oxer, but very square. And then they come across to the Miami Beach vertical here and across towards the stand to number 8, a big oxer there. So there's a lot of strides between those. That won't be as much of a definite distance. There'll be many numbers of strides done there. And then around to what was that skinny vertical after the triple combination is now before the triple combination. And the most riders will probably stay out and do a sort of a balancing 6 strides. Going the other way, it was 5 or 6. Now it'd probably be set at 6 to the triple combination, which now instead of oxer, vertical oxer, is vertical, oxer vertical. And then around the last line is oxer to the plank, and it's on just he's opened that up. There's a little more space now where the riders, I haven't had a chance to walk it, but the course designer thought it would be either direct 4, continuing 5 strides rather, or a steady 6. So we'll see how the riders walk that and what they decide to do.
And you mentioned this diagonal now coming back down toward home. Let's just walk off this distance. And the reason I want to do this is twofold. First of all, I want to see how you will assess this, because coming down toward the home end of the ring, it certainly would make a difference, possibly in the way the horses are going to ride it. And also, I just want to give some of our show jumping fans who may not be as familiar with how these horses move an opportunity to see how these riders are pacing off the distances. So just tell us a little bit about that while we walk down this line and this combination. Both fences here that we're going to be walking to, exactly how you kind of assess that, particularly for any individual horse.
Well, there's 2 ways you can walk this. I like to walk the actual footage, so I'll walk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's about 25 and a half feet. So that lets me know each one of my steps is 3 feet. So a horse's stride an average stride is 12 feet. So you figure there's 1 stride in here because you take advantage. You figure they land about 6 feet out from the jump and take off an average of 6 feet out from the jump. That changes with the height of the jump. But so if it's 6 feet, then 12 feet for a 1 stride, and then 6 feet for taking off. That gets you 24 feet. This is just a little foot longer. And then one other way I would walk it, if I were walking the lines, I would walk as if I would estimate where my horse lands. Then I would walk 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1 stride. And then I see I've got a little bit of a gap here in front of the fence, so I know I'm going to have to ride a little forward for this oxer.
So that's the A to B portion of the combination, and then B to C. We haven't paced that off yet, but maybe we can keep an eye on some of these riders as they do it. Lauren Huff just finishing up her walk between those 2 fences. Both of these, of course, are Longines official timepiece, oxer and vertical fences here. So how did that walk off there, Melanie?
Well, this is actually, it's measured the same. It's just a little bit shorter than the first one stride, so it's 1 and 1. A little bit forward one stride because they'll want to jump in careful to the vertical, ride strong to the oxer, and then be careful, really hold the horse off the ground for the second vertical. So 1 stride and 1 stride.
Okay, so a 1 to a 1 there, and then, of course, they're kind of heading toward the home end of the ring, which always gets them a little excited about going back that direction. Have to come past the in-gate before they approach the final 2 fences there and go to 11 and 12. In the first round, we saw quite a few of them have the rail down at what was a Liverpool vertical down there near our Riders Lounge area. The Liverpools this time around, I believe, have been moved to the Longines Global Champions Tour Oxer over here, and that's kind of coming away from home, of course. So it's a challenge to get past the gate, and then, of course, it's an additional challenge to approach a Liverpool oxer like that, which I would imagine is pretty substantial here in the second round.
It is, but the distance allows the riders to have the option. If the horse sort of hangs up over the oxer, they can add a stride to the last plank, and if they are able to jump the oxer really forward, they can leave out the stride. So if they're worried about the time, again, time is a factor because we had 12 clear and only 6 of the 4 falters came back, and the ones that had the fastest time. So that really makes a difference.
All right, we just watched Beat Mandley, who is training Katie Dinan as they paced off the distance here in the combination. Something interesting was discussed as we were heading into the ring here for the course walk, and that was Katie Dinan. I talked about this in some of the biography information that we gave for her when she finished up her round. Not only is she one of the top young American riders competing anywhere in the world, but she's also balancing that competition with a career as a student right now. She is actually attending Harvard, and she is a junior at Harvard and keeping her grades up there, commuting back and forth between Harvard and the show. Of course, maybe if we get a chance here, we'll have to see, because she's pacing off that final distance. Maybe we'll see if we can get a word with Katie to just get a little insight into how difficult that is right now. But for right now, we'll go ahead and let her pace off that final distance. Lots of riders coming in here. And again, as I mentioned earlier, this is a little bit different than what we would see in the U.S. But certainly, most of the riders that have qualified for this second round here today have experienced a format like this before. Have you ever ridden in a 2-round format like this that potentially leads up to a jump-off?
Yes, and it's more tiring on the horses. It really takes, a lot of the horses need to be fit. It takes a lot of perseverance to keep your focus, for 3 rounds. But it's a good format when you're jumping for this much money. It needs to be, you've got to perform. And these riders know it ahead of time, and they're ready.
All right, we're going to try to catch Katie here real quick. I know she's making her way back to the gate there, and we'll just see what she is doing in just a moment. I don't want to distract her from the walking because obviously she's setting her sights on the big prize of $600,000 here today. Maybe I could just ask our audience who are ringside here today, are you all having a good time? Everybody here in Miami Beach having a nice time? How many of you are show jumping fans from other events, or how many of you have been to one of these competitions before? Jimmy Turano, who's our commentator, obviously has been to one before. Folks on the rail there, have you all been to a show jumping event in years past? Ever been to something like this? Maybe not. Looks like not a whole lot of people, but hopefully you're enjoying yourselves, and hopefully you plan on coming to more of these events. And obviously we hope that this is the beginning of a long-standing Miami Beach tradition here. Again, this is not just a standalone competition, ladies and gentlemen. This is part of a 15-event tour that'll make its way through Europe and eventually onto Qatar at the end of the year. Doha, Qatar is where the final takes place. And the riders actually continue racking up the prize money, and eventually once they get to Qatar at the end of the year, whoever has won the most will in fact pick up a bonus prize as well. About $1 million is what the bonus is. Of course, Scott Brash has been the winner of the past 2 seasons, 2013 and 2014, and so he's coming to try to be the first ever 3-time consecutive winner, and he's definitely off to a good start here because he picked up a big win yesterday in the American Invitational, second rider from Britain ever to win that event, and of course he's done quite well here today. He was clear over the initial course, and I'm sure he has hopes of turning in a clear in the second round and potentially going into a jump off. And if that does happen, of course, it'll be an exciting round because that's where the speed really comes into play. But again, Scott Brash currently trying to defend his title. And again, this is just one of the many events that take place on the tour throughout 2015. I also want to mention that these events started 10 years ago, and the first ever Global Champion Tour event was in Wellington, Florida, back in 2006. Gene Mish, who was founder of the Winter Equestrian Festival, helped to bring the Global Champion Tour to the United States, and since then it's grown from 5 events in its inaugural year to 15 events 10 years later. But we certainly can't forget to thank both the Jan Tops and Mr. Eugene R. Mish for coming together and again collaborating on such a fantastic event that started back then and has grown to be so popular all around the world. And we're just very lucky that Mr. Tops and the group at Longines Global Champion Tour have chosen to bring it to South Florida once again for the 10th anniversary and make Miami Beach part of the family of events. Well, it looks like we may miss out on that interview with Katie because she's just finishing up her walk right now, but we are getting ever closer to the start of the competition here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Just want to take a moment to thank all of you for joining us. Thanks, of course, to Longines for being the official timepiece of the Global Champion Tour, and we certainly look forward to a great second round and possibly a jump-off as well. We're coming up on that second round here in just a few, so for myself and Melanie Smith-Taylor, we thank you all for being with us, and we'll see you back on the playing field here with the first of 18 to return.
Anche lui conta i tempi come da presidente.
Hey, Paul, Doug. What you what?
Why does she keep giving you the money? And there's the scene here in Miami Beach for the second part of the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix. Round 2 to get underway shortly. We're going to show you one or two highlights from the first round as well. For those not making it through to our top 18 to feature in the first leg of 15, as we saw for the postcard here for the Longines Global Champions Tour this year. We'll be ticking off those wonderful locations around the world. A few weeks' time we head back to Central Europe, to Belgium, then a little further afield a few weeks later to Shanghai in China, and jetting all over. And we'll be enjoying the sun in many other parts of the world, including Cannes, Monaco, and many others as well. And the beauty of Rome is an addition this year that will be taking place in September before the final stage takes place in November in Doha. Looking forward to that, but this is the first rung on the ladder, the first step towards the champion in 2015, and it's a brand new venue here in Miami Beach for the Longines Global Champions Tour. As you can see, we are right on the beach. All of the beachgoers, the revelers enjoying, and as well as our VIPs enjoying over in the hospitality, watching from whatever angle, and it's been a wonderful week of sport, as many have been able to enjoy for free alongside beachside or up in the grandstand. But what about the first round of this Longines Global Champions Tour event? It certainly was one full of drama and interesting stories, as we take look at a few of the highlights. Rounds, well, one of the best came from Peter de Vos and Candy, who was the rider who posted the best score. He'll be the last to go in the first round, and he produced this fantastic ride on his Spruce Rellows, winning Candy there. Kevin Stout, well, one of those, I'm afraid, not qualified for round 2, the world number 5, just misses out, unfortunately, on featuring 2 down, put them out of the running to feature in the second round. The Olympic gold medalist, Steve Gerda, was another one that we hoped would be a part of round 2, but unfortunately wasn't to be for Steve, just missing out on a spot. We'll bring through several with 4 faults from the first round, but I'm afraid Steve isn't going to be with us in round 2. But a host of good names are as well. From one gold medalist to another, as Steve Gerda, as I say, good rounds this week. He's had a very good run indoors. To the 2004 Olympic gold medalist in Rodrigo Pessoa, with status. Another one just to miss out on the position in the second round of this Grand Prix class. Unfortunately, poles falling for him, which meant he wasn't going to be a part of round 2. Edwina Tops Alexander, again going close on Linty Tequila, looking an impressive ride, but another one who will just remain on the edges, but will no doubt feature in many more of our Grand Prix to come during the season. Well, let's have a look at those that did make it through to that second round. 8 of them in all. They go in reverse order. Laura Kraut will start us off. We've got a group of those on 4 faults right the way down in the order. In fact, all of those on that board there will start on 4 faults. Jane Richard Phillips, Georgina Bloomberg. Then those starting on a 0 score. Clear round in the second round. If they can hold on to that again, jump another clear, or we go forward to a jump off. Basim Hassan Mohammed of Qatar. Several for the USA, including Royce with Margie Goldstein-Engel, the local girl here from Miami. The world number 1 defending champion Scott Brash and Hello Sanctos, and then finally Peter de Vos and Candy to feature in the second round as the last to go, and impressive they looked indeed. So we're going to have a look at the course for this second round, and alongside me is Melanie Smith-Taylor. We're going to have a look at the graphic that'll take us around the course for this second round. I know you've had a look at it, and we'll bring it up to you on the screen. Melanie, have a look at this one.
Well, a lot of the course, the lines are going in the opposite direction of the first round. So we start here at the end of the ring in the end gate ring, that fence which was fence number 4, and across the arena, fences that were 3 and number 2, and then coming around to fence number 4, which was the first jump, going the other way. So it gives the horses a different look and the riders a different look at each jump, and then across to the double combination without a direct line to it, and now it's oxer to vertical instead of vertical to oxer, and it's 2 strides. Again, the short turn, the fence on the end, but instead of the single vertical Liverpool, it's a narrow oxer. Then they go back up across the ring to the Miami Beach vertical and up to fence number 8, the single oxer, again next to the stands there. And and then they come around and they jump that narrow fence. It's that narrow fence, and it'll probably be a steady 6 strides, because now the combination is vertical, oxer, vertical. It was oxer, vertical, oxer. 1 stride and 1 stride. And then the last 2 fences, now it's an oxer over the Liverpool with an option distance, 5 or 6 strides, to the big vertical, which is once again the planks.
Well, that's the course for the second round. Melanie Smith-Taylor alongside me, many-time Nation Cup and Championship rider for the United States. And, well, this is one you've kept an eye on over the years, isn't it? Laura Kraut's going to lead us off, Melanie, on a score of 4 faults with the Avita Group's Nouvelle on this 11-year-old. And this is where it gets interesting, because if they go clear, they can move themselves up the order. They could get a good place. They're obviously not going to beat those that maybe go double clear or even triple clear, but they're still playing for a good prize pot. So the strategy of our full faulters now is a fast clear round to get up the order.
And it's interesting, it kind of puts more pressure on the riders that were clear, because if some of the 4 faulters are clear, then the riders that were clear, they have to still be aware of the time, and they don't want to rush. They want to clear around first. So, you know, it could end up some of these riders, if they go clear and the clear faulters have, the clear rounds have 4 faulters, these guys can be ahead of them. If they don't,
it's
so
a
if you have a clear
it's a good
round,
old game of chess that's going to go on, absolutely.
Yeah, you don't get credit for having a clear early if you then have 4. So, but Laura had a good round with Nouvelle. This is, we normally see, we're used to seeing, or we love to see Laura on her great horse Cedric, which is an older horse now. I think he's 17, and she just picks and chooses where he goes. And this is a mare she's been bringing along and had a lot of some great success with her. Yeah,
starting off with Cedric this season. A couple of times he's been out and won. Trump Invitational, then in Ocala in the Grand Prix there. Nouvelle finishing well in a host of Grand Prix too.
Yes. And a bit of a hot mare. You can see standing at the end gate. She was pretty ready to come in. Laura is such a great ring rider. She just fits horses, and she just is one of those riders that she can adapt to whatever comes up, whatever the horse has to offer, and just make it work out. And she's, the time allowed here is 76. We'll have a good feel after she goes of how that is. And she does the bending 6 strides to the combination, and it's keeping a nice gallop. She's very smooth, very quick, and just does an easy 5 strides. Beautiful. Oh, where did she add? I missed the 4 faults.
Well, it's actually added in from the first round, so there we go.
Right.
They added in automatically.
There you go. That confused me. I thought she had a beautiful clear round.
She did.
Okay.
65.32. They've automatically put the 4 in, so she will finish with a clear there, but it'll be 4 overall. 65.32 there for Laura Kraut and the Avita Group's Nouvelle.
Through the triple combination, jumps that so well. Even jumps a little to the left side so she can be slick through the turn. And the last line, again, going away from the end gate. Which, boy, she showed everybody how to ride it. She's thrilled. She's really excited. Because she's has a really good chance of moving up from 18th with that clear round.
And we saw a host of riders last year move up into some very good positions, 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever it was, for some very good prize money. $600,000 US in the prize fund for this class as we go to Germany's Hans-Dieter Dreher with the Embassy II. Also starts on a score of 4.
This horse had a brilliant round. I mean, he is so exciting to watch when he puts in a jump like that. There are really some fantastically talented horses in this round that we're going to see. You can see all of these riders are riding with a sense of urgency. They know that time is so important. If they don't tie for the jump off, they know that any of the placings after that is decided on time with equal fault. So he's really quick, but he may have out-quicked himself. Just hurried that turn, didn't get straight to the fence.
Well, takes him up to 12. It starts to lower him down the order as we go through.
So 8 in this round, right?
8 in this round. 8 in this round will finish on a total of 12, 61.84 for the combination of Hans-Dieter Dreher and Empty the second. So as we work down, say we reverse order. So the last to go is Peter de Barcia, the best of the clears in round one. Little look here, Melanie.
Yeah, he just cut that turn. He just rushed it a bit too much. But riders like Laura, now that she's gone, believe me, every rider that goes, she's thinking, okay, now I'm at least 17th.
Yeah.
And if someone else has run, now I'm at least 16th. So
they keep creeping on up. They're doing the maths.
Yes, they are doing the math all the way through.
Well, now to the world number 3, the Longines number 3, Daniel Deusser, Stefex Stables and Angel Stone Partners, Pironella, 10-year-old, for the holder of the World Cup title. Now, this combination I've seen go very fast indeed. I would expect or hope for a quick clear off these, and this could change things around again.
Absolutely. And not only are they thinking, 16th, so they're also thinking, I'm going to win 150,000. Oh, I'm going to win 200,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danielle jumped up. A really, whoa!
Oh, all sorts of trouble there.
That isn't the strangest thing.
Yeah.
That is so strange. It was like the horse just, we'll have to see it again. It looked like the distance was there. It was just a real miscommunication. That happened with one other, he's another Chestnut horse, did that in the first round. I'm trying to remember who it was. It did a stutter step to that fence, next to the last fence.
Yeah.
That was really strange.
What
a shame. Let's
have a look.
see if we can tell. Well,
wow.
The horse obviously thought it was too long because it looked like Daniel saw the distance and was ready to leave the ground, and the horse, can't tell from this angle how long he was, but the horse just thought he couldn't leave the ground and he started to take off and just put his feet back down.
Yeah, said, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But his first round was so neat and beautiful.
Yeah. Well, now to Georgina Bloomberg, also through on the 4 faults with the Gotham Enterprises. Lily, an 11-year-old. By Lefebvre. Georgina, who's been having a superb run this season. Grand Prix winner a few weeks ago. Finished top 3 in the $500,000 Grand Prix last week in Palm Beach. And now, again, producing a very good round. Just the 1 down in the first round. But again, if she can go clear, which she's more than capable of, she would go up the order. Game faces on.
Yeah, and her horse just drifted to the corner. She was the one that had the oxer down, and the cup fell off. It looked like she jarred the standard. But she has just jumped clear round after clear round. Jumped double clear at the Nations Cup in Ocala with her Great Mare Javina. This mare Lily has just been fantastic for her. Georgina's just really come into her own this year. She's riding with such confidence.
Yes.
And she's been a star. She deserves everything she's won.
Big winner in New York, of course, our hometown, back in September.
Boy, it really looks dark over there in the shadow. Oh, that's too bad. It's interesting going from light to dark, how the horses are able to adjust. You know, it's not to make excuses, but it is the end of the season.
Yeah.
This mare is one big classes, jumped a lot of clear rounds, and you know, like any athlete, she's ready. Georgina plans to give her a break after this, and it's well deserved. So
finishes on 8 this time, 4 from the first. There's Father Michael Bloomberg watching, former mayor of New York, and he watches on. She finishes on 12 in total. Puts her in the 3rd place at the moment. It will change around in the order. Yeah, let's have a look here.
she jumped up in front really well.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
you know, it's a narrow oxer. There's not a lot of width. It rides more like a vertical than a big scoopy oxer. And she just kind of cut down. It's sort of like she didn't really mean to have that down. That one, not so. She sort of pushed that one out of the way.
Yeah.
She loves her horses, and you can tell she's
I didn't get to watch it, so it wasn't,
just okay.
if I go back and see how much more I just felt in.
Well, also coming forward on the 4 now is the USA's Lauren Huff. This is the Ooh La La Group's 11-year-old Ooh La La.
I would expect this little mare to go clean. She was so good in the first round, kind of didn't mean to have a rail that she had.
Another one that just jumps so many clear rounds.
One of those sorry mum moments.
Yeah, she's such a trier. She you know, she's a tiny little thing, short stride. Well, not that short, but I mean, she has to really, she uses her energy to help her get across the fences. Lauren likes to carry pace with her and kind of bounce her. She's just like a little pogo stick. She just bounces off the ground. This got to really get them back for this narrow fence. Oh, she just skimmed over that one. Ooh, I bet she's breathing a sigh of relief making it over that narrow fence. There we go.
There we go.
Well done. Really well done.
Well, goes clear this time, 61.98 on the 4, takes her up the order. Obviously the best of those we've seen so far. So it is clear this time around for Lauren Huff, 61.98, a very quick time. We look at Laura Kraut on 65.32. She shaved a good bit off.
She did. This mare is just so quick. Both girls, Laura and Lauren, rode that well. They rode with the mindset that they wanted to be quick on the time to put their placing up as high as possible. So she's the top of the.
She's got to sit and wait now and see how big her check is.
Exactly. There's 12 clear rounds.
Yeah.
We have 12 chances to have a double clear. We hope we have several.
I'm sure we
for
will.
A jump off.
Yeah. Jane Richard Phillips now. This is the 12-year-old Pablo de Verton. Several good placings on the Longines Global Champions Tour last year. Won several of the 5-star classes as part of the tour as well.
This horse was really strong in the first round, so hopefully he's a little worn down and be a little more under control. She was really struggling to keep him under wraps.
He finished 7th in Doha, 7th in Vienna.
Just missed there. I would call that a royal chip in. She was going for the longer distance, but it just wasn't there.
Husband Ignaz Phillips watching. Whoa.
Really ran up under that one too, but it was very clever.
And another one takes up the score to 16 in total. Of course, the 4 carried forward from the first round, so it is 3 down in this round. 16-63-78 for Jane Richard Phillips and Pablo de Verton. Well, now we get into the riders that start with a clean sheet on a 0 score.
So now the pressure's on this group, because if they have a rail, you know, that's where it gets tough here, because Laura and Lauren both went fast and clear, so they've got a good fast 4 faults total. So now the guys with the clear round, they want to be careful to go clear, but if they have a rail, so that you sort of have to go in the middle. You have to try to win it both ways. You've got to go enough without feeling rushed, but you got to go enough, so if you have a rail, you can still be up there on the time.
Well, now to Bassem Hassan Mohammed. This is the Qatari rider with Balobeda Harlong, 12-year-old by Balobeda Rouet. Looks so impressive in the first round. Riley was part of the squad qualifying for the Olympic Games in Rio, and that was back a few weeks ago, back in February in Abu Dhabi at the Longines President's Cup in Gantoot, adding to that Asian Games gold last year. And this was a horse that really impressed you, wasn't it?
Oh my God, this horse was so much fun to watch. He's so calm, but he makes such an effort at every jump. He's so high in the air. He's not always, you know, the tightest with his knees, but he doesn't need to be. He jumps so high, he can hang them straight down and they still wouldn't touch the fence. Oh, you gotta love this horse. Jan Top's training the Qatarian team and buying these horses from him. He's done such a good job. These men. Mohammed's really, he rides this horse well. you know, when they bought him, they didn't start out showing right away.
Yeah.
They worked at home and schooled and just got to know him rather than just getting right there out on the scene and putting all the pressure on him right at first. But he just turns himself inside out to jump clear.
Well, there you go.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Jumping clear, 67.45, Sheikh Ali. And so the whole of the Qatari team and support team watching on. Good round from Bassem Hassan Mohammed. It's been flying in the sky. Good luck to the Qatari team here. He's the one left flying the flag, and he's doing it well.
Yes, he is. Look at that. Horse just does that double move in the air to bring his shoulders up to clear the back rail of the oxen.
Sheikh Ali, his teammate.
Incredible talent, that horse. So we have our first double clear.
We do. There we go.
We just want some more so we can have a jump off.
So Bassem Hassan Mohammed, first of the double clears. Now we go to Katie Dinan for the USA Staccarado, 10-year-old by Staccato Gold. New ride in the string this season. Will also head to the Longines World Cup final in Las Vegas in a few weeks' time. And is one of the impressive string of young riders here in the United States, training with Swiss rider Beat Manley, formerly with McLean Ward.
And Katie did a great job in the first one. You can tell this horse isn't that interested in ever going in a straight line anywhere. And he didn't even come in the in-gate straight. And it was really rough and ragged and difficult. He's very flexible kind of horse. He's always sort of, he doesn't just go straight. He's always shifting left and right. And she has to really cowgirl up. You know, the horses she's had in the past have been lighter, easier going horses, but she's really learning to be a tough rider and aggressive and make it work, and she's gutsy. Katie has a very good eye.
Yeah.
Very good feel, good timing. You know, she hasn't had the chance to ride lots of different types of horses, but she's getting it now, and that's what makes great riders. Horses make great riders. Unfortunate 2 rails down after a clear first round, but boy, what great experience for her. She was saying at the end gate she's still just a junior in college at Harvard.
Yeah, absolutely.
She can't wait till she finishes school so she can focus just on one thing instead of 2 things at the top level.
Katie Dinan, Staccarado, finish on the 8 there, 65.37. And so changes things around. Lauren Huff is now in second spot, of course, with the clear from Bassem Hassan Mohammed. Laura Crouch in third. At the moment are 2-4 falters.
And there, Katie's horse just got strong through that turn and just ran her past the distance she wanted a little bit, just enough to cause that rail down.
Well, now they're one.
Beezy showing her horse that line. You know, she's smart. It's right up against the stand. It's dark over there. They go from light into the dark. And she just, you know, wanted to give him a chance to see that.
There's Bassem Hassan Mohammed just outside. Bassem having a talk with the team, but Beezy Man underway. Double bronze last year at the World Equestrian Games. Former winner in Chantilly on the Longines Global Champions Tour. And one of America's best.
Beezy's really thinking about a clear, just a clear right now. She's not, she's being neat, but she's not hurrying at all. She wants to put together a double clear. Beautiful first round. Simon got a bit strong in the last line, and she pulled it out. John Madden, her husband, was shaking his head watching. He was thinking, oof.
John's just a few feet from us watching. Also got to watch for the leg kicking up as well.
This horse likes to make a little bit at the jump. He likes to get deep, but he's so careful. Come on, Bees. Oh, no. What a heartbreaker. not only the last fence down, but the last leg over the fence headed down.
Yeah.
Oh, she rode so well. He jumped so well. That's a heartbreaker.
Finishes on 4 BC Man with Simon, her World Cup final winning combination in 2013. And as you see there, Melanie, it's just so close.
He's way up in front and see, there's a case where she was going for the clear. So now that puts her lower in the rankings,
drops her
behind
down to 4th.
Laura Kraut and Lauren Huff.
Yeah,
so she doesn't get credit for having a clear first round, but that's just the way the class rules go, and everybody knows that. But that is an example of how that sort of things switch around.
That's how we stand at the moment, as we just saw Jan Tops with Bassam. Just looking at the course there, the only clear so far. They're anticipating more, I'm sure. A little further down, Jane Richard Phillips 16, and it was 12 in total. 2 down in this round for Georgina Bloomberg and Lily.
Yes, we have quite a few horses that can still go clear, but Beasy would have been a top pick to have a double clear.
France's Roger-Yves Boss now. Qatari team planning it all out. They did it successfully in Monaco last year. Can they do it again? Roger-Yves Boss, Nippon Dal, the European champion. Can he just nip this one from underneath them? Wait and see.
Love this horse's canter. He has a really balanced canter. Looks like he's nice to see a distance off of.
Once again, we have the Nippon Dal, 14-year-old Australian.
It's happening again, a second time.
Yeah, here we go. Well, a beautiful week and a beautiful evening of sport. There's almost a pink shade starting to drop over the arena now. It's a wonderful part of the day. Absolutely stunning, but the shadows get longer and the sea comes closer.
You checked high tide yet?
I think we're okay.
Because one end of the ring goes out further to the ocean. The other end comes in more because it's sort of the way the beach is. The tide would come too strong, would come in too close.
We're high up. We'll survive.
Yeah, so we're up on a platform.
Before now in the World Equestrian Games, 2-time winner of Grand Prix on the Longines Global Champions Tour.
Again, he's definitely riding for a careful clear. He's not hurrying. This is a tough part of the course right here, that skinny vertical to the triple. You can't really take a breather anywhere.
Yeah.
Come on, Busty. All right.
Oh, looks good. There's the clear.
Well done. Ah, that's great. And so we have a jump off, Stephen.
Absolutely. Time's irrelevant, but it is clear there for Roger-Yves Boss of France. Nippon Dal will go up against Bassem Hassan Mohammed and Palabay the Harlong so far. Bassem will lead them off in the jump off because they'll go the same order as this round.
Is that right?
Yeah,
yes, I couldn't remember if it was the order of this round or the original order.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, that's going to be an interesting one because Bosti, as we all know, is so good in those jump offs.
He's quite quick, I would say.
Quite quick.
Yeah.
Flying Frenchman. The flying Frenchman. Okay.
And he's come a long way to not go home with that top prize.
Exactly. Kevin Stout down there on the floor. Eric Lamar's saddling up. He'll be next but one to go. They're watching from every angle. They're standing room only here. Eric Lamar's to follow on from Dennis Lynch.
It'd be nice to have both those guys in here.
Yeah. There he is. Dennis Lynch heading into the arena. Thomas Straumann's Hogo van der Paderborn, 8-year-old by Darko. 3-time winner in Braunschweig a few weeks ago.
This horse just jumped better and better as he went around in the first round.
For a young horse coming into this level, looks... Whoa! Seidruma did that last time, but...
He did jump right into that corner. Because that's the greenness coming out.
Ah.
That's too bad. He's really supporting him a lot. You can tell he's a less experienced horse. He's really riding him strong through there and trying to support him.
Well, we'll finish on 4:67.81. It is for Dennis Lynch this time. We'll put him in 6th place overall as it stands at the moment with Hugo van der Paddenboer. But as I say, an 8-year-old, and that's going to be an interesting one. Here we go.
Oh, that was a big jump.
Yeah.
He stood up and landed just as far on the other side. Really lots of scope. Here is where he really shifted to the left. He jumped right in the middle of the fence and then shifted way to the left over the fence, and he rode him out. He had to really kind of strong arm him.
So Dennis Lynch to finish on the 4. Reminder of those clears: Rodri Bost and Bassem Hassan Mohammed so far. Eric Lamaze, now the 2008 Olympic gold medalist, the Arsene Farm and Torrey Pine Stables, Rosanna Duparc, 10-year-old by Cannon, 5-time winner this season already in Florida in the Big WEF Challenge Cups, and that's no easy feat.
And this horse jumped beautifully in the first round.
Yeah.
I would think he had a really good chance of being clear again. And it'd be so fun to have Eric in that jump off with Bosti and Mohammed.
Being on terrific form.
Yeah, Eric, it's taken a while to build a string again after losing Hickstead, but he's really worked at it.
And last year started well in a host of Grand Prix as well, winning back-to-back Rome and Le Ball.
Yeah, he's really enjoyed being based out of Europe, being able to go to all those big shows. Take his time a little here. He did a good job there. He went wide and got very straight, but it didn't help out. He rode that as well as you could ride it. Now he's got to try to be as quick as he can and still leave these last jumps up.
So he will finish on the 4. Eric Lamaze, 65.79. It'll leave him in 5th position as it stands at the moment. As you can see, back down on the beach is packed up again. I mean, they walked away for a few minutes while we did reset the course. So then the great thing is,
came right back.
Back. The good thing is they've locked on. They know exactly what it's all about. Great.
So Eric just slipped right in ahead of Beezy Mad now. He's in 5th and Beezy in 6th. Lauren Huff in 3rd and Lauren Kraut in 4th. Yeah, I just thought he rode that so well. He went wide, took his time to that vertical. It's just hard to jump those airy fences. And again, the narrow poles, the 8-foot instead of 12-foot or whatever, they're just lighter. They knock down easier.
Well, now to Luciana Diniz. And
she had a fun round.
She did.
Oh, and she was, as you said, she's so pleased with her horses. It just makes her so happy.
Just plain in, does it very professionally and enjoys doing what she's doing.
She's always quick.
Yeah.
She always has a quick time. What she does well is she lands and goes right to the next fence.
Yeah.
She doesn't land and sort of take a hold and organize. She just keeps right on going.
Second in Cannes last year.
This to me is the trickiest place on the course, is making this turn and making sure you set up for this narrow fence. It just comes down so easily. You can kind of slip around and keep going everywhere, but that's a tough one there.
Yeah. Finishes on the 4 this time, Luciana Diniz, so 65 seconds exactly for her. Takes her into 4th position as we stand at the moment. So the 2 clears, Bassem Hassan Mohammed and Roger E. Boss. Lauren Huff, you see now into 3rd.
I know, and Luciana right there moved Laura Krupp down a notch. She just rides, she's naturally quick, and she really, I love the way she continues. She just lands and continues onto the next fence. I think she all of a sudden realized she was on the screen.
Absolutely. Doda de Baranda now. This is 80 Ramenhos Borgino. 15-year-old by Balubaido Rue for the Brazilian rider. He's a 2-time Olympic bronze medalist. Has won Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix before now. Valkenswaard and Doha. Been based in Florida for the winter months.
He was our first clear riding out of the 14th spot. Took us 14 horses to have a clear. And he had a really solid clear. Quite a few people that and the narrow fence. It's number 9 here. It's been difficult to jump. He was well over that.
The ages, the clears are becoming harder and harder to come by.
Yes, they are. Well, at least we have 2.
Yeah.
We have a jump off.
Tino Narcis de Baranda. His wife just coming down off the kiss and cry. 66.04 for Doda. And 80 Ramenhof's Borgino. But we've got, we're going in reverse order again as well. The best scores from the first round will go last. So we'll have a little bet now that we'll probably have 4 of them in the final jump off.
You think so? We've got 4 more to go. I would hope Margie Engel will go clean with Royce. He jumped so well the first round, so high. He looked fresh.
Yeah, and that would be nice. Home ground here in Miami.
Yeah, I've got my money on.
Yeah, we'd love this one.
Margie
Goldstein Engel Royce. From Olympic Games previously, World Championship medalist.
The sunglasses have come off now. She wants to be able to see in those shadows. But she's just looked focused all day watching her walk the course. She walked several lines several times. Margie's definitely in it to win it.
Previously competing in the likes of Valkenswaard on the Longines Global Champions Tour.
Come on, big boy.
Ooh. I think everyone's willing this one round.
No, there's no place where you can really take a breather and think you're home free. This is, be careful here. Dang. It would have been fun to see her in a jump off, but not to be.
Finishes on the 4, 63.91. Puts her into 4th place overall for Margie Goldstein Engel.
Wow, I didn't realize she was that quick. Yeah, this horse
she kept on moving.
He has such a huge stride, which really covers her well. Well, she's going to get a good piece anyway. Yeah, you know, she just gave him a little gap at it, thinking that would help him, and he just jumped a little too low. These narrow fences, sometimes it's better to give them a little gap, to stand off a little bit rather than getting deep, because there's not enough to sort of back a horse off. It's not enough to jump.
Yeah.
That looked like that was her plan, but it didn't work.
There's Qatar rider Basim. No.
He's getting back on for
Yeah.
the jump up because he sees there's only 3 left.
Three
He'll
left.
go first. In
And
the
they
jump up,
include
right?
this man who's the 2-time champion, current holder of the championship, wears the armband as the Longines world #1,
Well,
Scott
we
Brash.
should have a clear here, shouldn't we?
We'll see. Let's not jinx it.
Don't want to do that.
Absolutely.
Ever.
Lord and Lady Harrison, Lord and Lady Kirkham's Hello Sanctos. #1 rider, #1 horse in the world. Last year winning 3 legs of the Longines Global Champions Tour, Cannes, Estoril and London.
As I said earlier, watching the first round, he just looks very fresh.
Yeah.
He hasn't done a whole lot this season yet.
Tends to run him in, of course, in blocks as well, of probably 3 weeks or something like that, nothing too much.
It's certainly been a
Saving
good
for the
strategy.
Big occasion.
You just hold your breath when
Yeah.
they come to that fence. Come on.
This could move things up. Oh, you are a machine.
Look at that.
65-43 clear.
He won yesterday. Imagine if he won back-to-back.
Oh.
It wouldn't surprise anybody.
What I find funny is every time the other riders start to get close to him on the world rankings,
He moves right on.
He moves a few more
He
up.
says, "Oh, that's a little too close for comfort. I think I
Yeah.
better win the next one."
Exactly.
such a sweet, I mean, just such a kind, humble young man. He's really great for the sport. A great role model.
Yeah. Scott Brash adds the clears. 3 of them now. 2 more to come. 1 more for the home nation, 1 for Belgium. Well, I think they were probably on the edge of the seats back at home as well.
I guess so.
Ken Farrington, voyeur for the USA.
Oh, this would be nice to
Yeah.
have a clear, so we'd have a, lots of in a real international field. He's he's the last American to have a chance of having an American in the jump off. So
30-year-old voyeur, the world's #4. Oh,
just wasn't meant to be.
yeah.
This is a difficult course to jump clean. When you think we had 12 clears
Yeah.
in the first round, we've only had 3 of those 12 do double clear, but I think we've had 5 clears. Have we had 5 clears in this round?
We've had, yes, in terms of jumping clear, yes, three double clears. There it is, finishes on the 4:62.38. Will take him into 5th place overall for Ken Farrington of the USA.
So right out of the blocks, Laura Crowder-Newville jumped a clear
Yeah.
round and looked like, okay,
4th.
we're going to
Yeah.
have some clears, but
Worst they're
then
going to
the
be
rails
5th.
started to fall.
And from Lauren's point of view, where she's going to be now is 5th.
Pretty cool. So Kent, he came around the turn. He looked like he got his voyeur straight to that fence, got a little deep, helped him jump up and around it to help him set up for the vertical, and he just had it down. It looked like he rode it well. Did what he could do.
Yeah. Well, final combination in this second round. Peter de Vos and the big jumping candy.
And the reason he had the fastest time, he left out a stride down that last
Yeah.
line. It was a 4-stride line. I mean, definitely 4, and he did 3.
Yeah.
This horse has
Just
the most
eats ground.
ginormous stride.
Yeah.
Ginormous. I don't think that's a word, but
It'll do.
it's
It is now.
You know what it means.
Yeah. It's Bruce Meadows winning combination a few seasons ago, the Masters.
And as you said, this horse's stride is more, you know, it would be easier for him to jump out on a big field, a big long course, but he somehow manages to be organized in this small ring. So it's pretty amazing. Come on, Candy. She doesn't look like a mare. I keep thinking it's a gelding. She's just sort of big, you know, rangy looking. Has sort of a masculine head, but what scope?
Oh, yes.
I think he left out a stride again. I couldn't tell the way the camera was, but oh my word, how fun. This is great. So we have 4 in the jump off.
We do.
This is going to be really fun.
Peter DeVos and Candy go forward to that final round. It's 4 of them in all. We'll take you through that in just a few moments' time. And we'll have a look at the jump off as well for that on the graphic in a minute or two. But it does mean 4 of them will take on the track for the final showdown in this Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix. The Grand Prix of Miami Beach, the very first of the season. And look at that, a beautiful evening. They're hanging off everywhere just to watch this.
Yeah, well, who wouldn't?
Terrific round from Peter DeVos. Once again, he was the winner in Shanghai last year. So, who will be the ones speeding to the finish to round off this fabulous Grand Prix? Let's have a look at our combinations that are going forward to the next round. So there they are, and there's the overall lineup as we see Lauren Huff would eventually finish in 5th place, Ken Farrington in 6th, but the 4 going out against each other: Basim Hassan Mohammed, Roger Reid Bost, Scott Brash and Peter DeVos. Further down the order, finishing on the 4, Margie Goldstein Engel, this time with Royce finishes in 7th spot, and a little further down we go, Katie Dynan and combination finish in 13th. Hans-Dieter Dreyer 15th spot. Georgina Bloomberg would take 17th in the end. Daniel Deusser 18th, unfortunately, with that tumble for them. So we'll have a look at a few of those rounds. there, seeing Scott Brash. He's going to be a part of the final jump off. Bassem Hassan Mohammed, Alabeda Harlong will lead us off. Rojri Bosnipondel, second to go. We know he is quick. Scott Brash, accurate as ever. The British rider who holds the title with Hello Sanctos, the Longines world #1. And Peter de Vos, big winner in Shanghai last year, brings forward his big Grand Prix winner, Candy, once again. So it's going to be a very, very interesting jump off. And let's going to have a look at the jump off course with Melanie. You're going to take us round as we go.
Well, it starts over what was 5B, close to the VIP stand there, and a turn back to 2 and 3. Second fence, the Oxer, number 3. And then we skip the skinny fence this time and go directly to 10AB. They've left out the C part. And then a quick turn back. This could be the turn that makes the difference here. Turn back to the vertical 7. Because it's a vertical, they can be really tight to that. And then a long gallop up to the Oxer. This fence came down a lot in the last round. And then finish over what was the last fence, fence number 14, 12 going the other way, the planks.
Well, course set by our team, whipping interaction. Uliana Vetsani just giving the final touches there. And already on course is Bassem Hassan Mohammed and Alabeda Harlong. Big jumping horse, can cover the ground. Question is, how fast can they go?
But you would have to think that this horse won't have a rail. The way he's been jumping, he's been
superb. Not
just 1 foot, but about 2 feet
above
the fences.
Yeah.
So don't know if he's done, how quick he'll want to go, but he can pretty much count on this horse going clear. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. He goes first. He needs to be quick enough to put the pressure on, but he doesn't have to be crazy if he jumps clear, because that's the first requirement, is clear. I love that.
There it is.
Flying in the sky. Isn't that great?
Yeah. Well,
it looks like he just has a loose ring snaffle, the simplest bit you can use. The horse must have a lovely mouth. Oh,
okay.
yeah, I think he was 3 feet over that jump. This is just so impressive, the way this horse jumps to the combination. So he's not running a foot race here. Let's see how quick he is with his turn back to the vertical. Pretty good turn. Whoa. He just gave himself 1 stride. Yeah, now he's speeding up. Big gallop to the Oxer. Now he's decided all of a sudden he's galloping to the last. Go, come on.
Yeah, he's got it.
Fantastic.
39.74 for the first away in the jump off. Bassem Hassan Mohammed of Qatar and Alabeda Harlong. So that puts a good target for them. As you say, not racing, but turn up there. Sheikh Ali watching on gives applause.
And what a luxury to have a horse that you can count on to miss the jump. So you can you can turn wherever you want, go as fast as you want, and you can count on that horse doing his part. I mean, that's a fabulous horse. And he gave him a great ride. He started out careful, and then he got pretty quick at the end. So he's a player. So his teammate was second yesterday in a big Grand Prix. So he's trying to outdo him, try to move up into that top spot. So we'll see what the challenges are going to be.
Absolutely, the big contender now, Rojri Bosnipondel.
And this horse jumped great in the first round. Very careful. And Basti, we know,
covers the ground.
Jesus. He's won some great jump offs. So
we're going to slowly get up ahead of steam and get the locomotive going.
Yeah, and he knows it's one thing he can easily be quicker than Mohammed, but he's got to be. He's got 2. He's got Scott Brash and Peter de Vos coming after him. So, oh my, he's got to go for it.
There's a lot of woos coming in there.
Yeah, grunting and groaning. That helps.
Oh no.
It was really hard to see at this angle, but obviously he tried to turn too tight. You know, it's a totally blind turn. It's a complete 180.
Well, it leaves Bassem in front on the 4 then.
You know, and it used to be when the refusals were 3 faults years ago, you could, you know, still be ahead, but now the refusals and rails, of course, are the same. So, plus you get the extra time.
Absolutely. 47.33 will finish on the 5 there for Roger Bost and Nippon Dell. Let's have a look at this.
So he's turning. The horse is saying, I don't think so. He was sort of aimed at the standard. It was really, looked like Busty he had the distance there, but the horse just didn't come through that turn. He just was hanging on that left rein. He'll go home and practice that.
Scott Brash, 3-time winner last year. Once again, the fabulous Hello Sanctos.
If he's in the jump off, this combination, you can't rest easy.
Ooh, gave the first a right old rattle.
I guess he did.
I think the rest of the audience then had a heart attack, but apart from that.
So maybe luck is with him, you know. This sport's a lot of luck.
This is the crucial one. He's got it.
Yes. He sees the big one there.
39.74 is Bassem's time. He's got to leave this, and he should be quicker. He should be quicker. 38.57. Yes, he is.
But not by a whole lot,
no.
You know. But not by a whole lot. So he may be relegated.
Could get second,
and maybe relegated to a second place again. But you know what? That's pretty darn. That's great.
That's impressive.
All right. Well, let's see. We've got Peter DeVos.
Peter DeVos to come.
He's
Candy.
been. This will be fun because Candy has such an enormous stride that, you know, stride for stride, he's going to be faster if he makes the same turns as Scott. So Scott will be hard to beat, though. That was pretty fine.
3 wins last year, and he was the champion. This man won last year in Shanghai on Dream of India Greenfield. Won previous year in Spruce Meadows with this horse Candy. That's another very big Grand Prix indeed. He's more than capable, and he's a very big part of the
capable,
very big part of the Belgian squad now, and has all his firepower up and running.
Come on, Candy. She checked out that first fence also.
Exactly. So it's Scott.
Two in a row.
He finished the season winning last year the championship.
And then he won last night.
He won last night the American Invitational. Second British rider to do that.
So the Qatari teammates were second in both to Scott. If they could just talk Scott out of coming to these shows, they would have been both winners.
I think they might tie one of his hands behind his back yet.
That might not make a difference.
I don't think Daniel Doyce is going to be very happy about that. Finishes on 4:44.19. It'll take Scott back up a bit further in the rankings, but it is the Longines World #1 that finishes top here in Miami Beach. Peter DeVos there finishes on the 4:44.19. So Peter, in the end, will finish in 3rd place. It's second spot to Bassem Hassan Mohammed, and it is the win again for the combination of Scott Brash and the wonderful Hello Sanctos. Well, that is a very, very impressive run indeed. So let's have a look at the overall results, and then I'm going to leave you to have a look at the head-to-head, Melanie, while I head down and have a chat.
I'll be glad to.
Let's have a look at the overall lineup. What a wonderful way to finish the competition. Presentation in just a few minutes' time with another terrific lineup. But the overall result for this Longines Global Champions Tour of Miami Beach is a win for Scott Brash and Hello Sanctos. Bassem Hassan Mohammed and Palabeda Halong finish in second. Peter DeVos and Candy will finish in third. 4th spot for Roger Boss, Nippon Dell. Lauren Huff coming up into 5th spot overall there. Ken Farrington in 6th, and then a little further down the order we saw several of them moving up in that second round by jumping some good clears. But Lauren Huff, we saw a great clear in that second round. She finished in 5th place overall. Kent Farrington, as I say, in 6th for the overall lineup. So it is a win for Scott Brash. There we see Laura Crack came up to 9th place in the end, finishing on a total of 4 faults. Margie Goldstengel, the home girl, finishes in 7th. Beezy Madden for the USA in 11th. Dennis Lynch in 12th. And from our top 18 in this second round, Katie Dynan would have just a couple down. A little further down, Georgina Bloomberg featuring in that second round again with Lily. So a win for Scott Brash. I'm going to head down and catch up with him. You're going to have a look at the head-to-head in a few minutes' time.
So this is fun opportunity to watch Hello Santos and Palo Bay head-to-head. After the first fence, and it turned back here. Right together, you can see Scott a stride ahead, leaving the ground. A little ahead through the combination, and this turn's going to be interesting because this was such a quick turn. And they're right together again. Right together again. And then Scott really gallops left out of stride to that Oxer. Both of them galloping here, but setting up as they need to, and such a close finish. Great jump off, and really fun to see that head-to-head. So as the course is being dismantled, we see the winner is Scott Brash now. He's in the Longines Global Champions Tour overall standings. He's right at the top of the list with that win. Mohammed is second, Peter Devos in third, Roger East Boast in fourth, Lauren Huff fifth. And this is the first class of the year, so the rankings will be in the order of the way the riders finished today. Scott Brash starting off the year right at the top, just the way he finished last year.
Well, Scott Brash, I think we're on deja vu. I'm sure I did this a lot last year. Very well done. The first of the season goes to you here in Miami Beach.
Yeah, great start, wasn't it? Yeah, my horse jumped fantastic. He feels really good. He's fresh, and we gave him a short rest. He's done Doha and another show, and he's Santos. You know, he jumps clear all the time. He's a wonderful horse to have.
And the credit also has to go in the jump off there. I mean, Basim jumped a fantastic round with Palo Bay.
He did. I actually watched Basim on the screen, and I thought he'd done a fantastic round. Palo Bay jumped unbelievable. So, yeah, I was just trying to be as tight as I could, and yeah, faster.
Well, I said in commentary that the two of you are just a machine together. The world number one in both horse and rider. I mean, you started off the season as you left off. Could this be a third win in the series for you?
I don't know. I'll not get carried away. There's 15 shows to go, so yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. But yeah, it's a great start.
Message for the owners back at home?
They're watching. I think it's at midnight, but they'll be probably shouting at the TV. No, they've been on the phone and they're delighted, and yeah, it's great. I just wish they were here.
Well done, Scott. Another fantastic win. And that horse is just a super horse.
Yeah, words can't describe him. He's 1 in a million. He's got to go down as one of the all-time greats.
Won a bit more than a million as well. Congratulations, Scott. We're going to join the presentation in a few minutes' time, but well done to Scott Brash, winner here in Miami Beach.
Do we have an NBC one?
An NBC one?
Such a great job. He glides, he's flying. Of course, has wings. Yeah. What was the origin? Time flies. That's great.
So they're preparing to come in for the presentation. Great smile, and Scott always giving his horse the credit.
And set to welcome forward the top three for the presentation of this Longines Global Champions Tour of Miami Beach. Please welcome our fantastic combinations that again produce a wonderful showdown to the start of this year's Championship Series. Ready by the winners, Scott Brash.
So we see the top three riders and medal winners coming in for the presentation. Scott Brash with Hello Sanctos, Bassem Mohammed with Palo Bay.